Frequency Matters, the RF and microwave industry update video series. I'm Kristen Anderson, and I'm here with our technical editor, Gary Lerude. On last week's episode, Pat and I talked about the cover feature and some of the products featured in our October Passive and Control Components themed issue. So I was hoping you could tell us about some of the other technical articles in this issue.
Sure. We have 4 other technical articles that are not so much SOI related. One is a broadband PA design for infrastructure, for wireless infrastructure. It uses harmonic matching with the simplified real frequency technique to do the design. And it's got pretty good performance. It covers 1.7 to 3 gigahertz with about 20 watts output power, between 55 and 70% power added efficiency, and some nice linearization using DPD. And it uses a GaN solid-state device as the amplifying element. A second article kind of also on the communications theme. There's a dual-channel X-band communications receiver designed for 2-channel MIMO type applications, maybe for point-to-point radio. It operates at 8.6 gigahertz, has about a 1.8 dB noise figure, over 90 dB of gain, of which 60 dB of that can be controlled. And with a 64 QAM communication signal, it gets 1.4% error vector magnitude. So that could be used for point-to-point radio. Then we have 2 sort of filter-related articles. One is a frequency agile diplexer that has more than 100% fractional bandwidth. It operates in portions of L and S band. And the interesting thing about this is it uses metamaterials in the design, or more formally known dual composite right-left-handed transmission lines. And then our last article that I think folks would be interested in reading covers temperature compensation of resonators and filters for satellite applications. And this is very important because if you look at the temperature differential in a satellite, from the side that's sitting looking at the sun to the dark side, there's a pretty significant difference. And for filters that are based on physical dimensions, you have those changes in dimensions with temperature. So that's an interesting article as well.
Very interesting.
So how about the products that we're featuring in our tech briefs?
In our tech briefs, we do cover Marquee Microwave's new ADM line of distributed amplifiers and how they're a convenient and economical way to drive broadband mixers for all LO drive levels. We also cover a new coupled cavity traveling wave vacuum device from the Microwave Power Products division of CPI, which provides 700 watts saturated CW power optimized for any 3 gigahertz instantaneous bandwidth within the 27 to 31 gigahertz frequency range.
That's a lot of power in that frequency band.
A lot of power. So also, to make testing of printed circuit boards easier, a company called INGUN, I-N-G-U-N, USA, they've come up with a very compact yet robust passive HF contacting solution to cover various RF connectors with spring-loaded probes. So those are covered, those 3 things in our tech briefs.
Let's talk a little bit about news. It's kind of hard to know where to begin because I think we're in such a dynamic and changing environment right now. We've talked for months now, I think, about the consolidation in the industry, particularly with the semiconductor companies. And the latest example of that, Skyworks, made a $2 billion deal to acquire PMC Sierra. But that was only the first chapter because then Microsemi came in and offered $2.4 billion, topped their offer. So we're kind of waiting now to see what the next step is, what's going to happen there. And there are rumors of other semiconductor acquisitions that are going to take place, that companies are talking with each other. So it's kind of musical chairs right now.
Wow, I guess so.
We've also talked about the fact that there's a real soft market in China for infrastructure, and that really came home with Freescale announcing their third quarter results. Their RF products business reported revenue of $83 million in the third quarter, which was down 53% from the $177 million last quarter. So that's a very significant drop, and it shows how dependent they are on infrastructure and also the Chinese market. Of course, long term, that market's going to recover, but it's got to be really tough on Freescale right now. They're also waiting for the close of the NXP acquisition of Freescale. And of course, that's dependent right now on the U.S. government review of the sale of Freescale's RF power business to the Chinese firm JAC Capital. and that's supposed to finish up sometime in November. So it's kind of very unsettling and a lot of dynamic activity going on in the industry. But speaking of China, I think you have some good news to report from China.
Yeah, just put out in the news this week was the fact that Horizon House and the China Electrotechnical Society have partnered to combine their shows next year in Beijing. Now, CES, the China Electrotechnical Society, is a national society with a long-term commitment to the field of electrical engineering, and they have been hosting this EMC, EMI, and microwave technology conference and exhibition for 20 years. And with Horizon House's Electronic Design Innovation, EDI, conference, now in its 4th consecutive year, and it's expanding. To bring these two shows together under one roof, engineers can choose to attend one or both conferences. They can benefit by the organized exhibition and by the tremendous networking opportunity. And at this 2016 show, there's going to be focused conference tracks on things like 5G, Internet of Things, EMC, EMI, as well as various microwave and high-speed digital design, modeling, and measurement topics. So it's bigger, it's broader, and we're really happy to merge with this China Electrotechnical Society.
Well, that's great news. You know, when Richard Mumford and I were in Beijing in January, we had an initial meeting with these folks, and they were talking about a potential collaboration. So it's nice to see it all come together.
It's all coming together.
And we should mention that we have the call for papers open for EDI CON, and would encourage our viewers, if you have an idea for a paper, please submit it. You can go to the EDICONChina.com website. There's a real easy way to submit an abstract, and that's all you have to do at this point is an abstract. It's not a lot of work.
And it's one more week that it's open.
That's right, although I think we'll probably extend that deadline, I'm guessing.
That's the usual.
Also in the events area, I'm heading off for Milcom, and we'll be attending that show. I haven't been there in a number of years, so I'm looking forward to catching up.
Good, and I think we're distributing our September Aerospace and Defense supplement there at that show.
I think that's true, yeah. And the other thing, it seems like we've been doing a lot of webinars. Is that true?
There are a lot of webinars right now, and what a great opportunity. These are free, 1-hour tutorials, pretty much. And they're all listed on the events page of the Microwave Journal website. I'll tell you about the ones coming up in November.
Okay.
One is interesting, Breakthroughs in Phased Arrays and Radar by Eli Bruckner.
He's a real expert, yeah.
Right. We're covering antenna simulation with ComSol. We have a Besser webinar on passive components. And then Sonnet Software is presenting a webinar called Port Tuning. They say EM accuracy and circuit theory speed. The Isola group is presenting a webinar called Passive Intermodulation in PCBs, Mechanisms and Mitigation. And then the CST webinar series continues in November, covering topics like graphene-enhanced devices, advanced PCB rule checking, and the simulation of implanted medical devices. All in November.
All in November. And the nice thing, particularly for our viewers, is if the particular time of the webinar isn't convenient, they're recorded, so you can watch them on demand.
Absolutely.
So any other news to report, or is that a wrap?
I think that's it for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank our sponsor, Mini Circuits, for making this program possible. Arguably, Mini Circuits is the best-known product brand in the microwave industry. They have a huge line of products. You can find out more information about those at minicircuits.com. And I'd like to thank our co-editor, Leslie, who served as fashion consultant for this episode, making sure that our colors coordinated with the cover. And we want to thank you for watching. You also make this possible, and we hope to see you on the next episode.